Have you ever looked at someone and thought, how are they this calm when life is clearly trying to stress test everybody? You've seen people who look ordinary on the outside, simple clothes, a quiet lifestyle, nothing that screams millionaire energy. Yet they move through life like they've unlocked a secret level. They don't show off. They don't need applause. They don't show their bank balance through cars, vacations, or giant shopping bags. But something about them says they're financially solid, maybe even wealthy in a way that doesn't need decoration. Real wealth is subtle. Real wealth is silent. Real wealth is strategic. And the best part? These signs of hidden wealth have nothing to do with your starting point. No rich parents required. No Ivy League education necessary. No born lucky excuses. Anyone can learn these signs and build the habits that create financial freedom, equity growth, and long-term stability. Before we get into the 8 signs, here's something fun. As we go deeper, you'll start noticing these signs in people around you. Someone at work, a friend who never shows off, even a family member who always seems stable no matter what the economy is doing. It's not about how much they earn, it's something deeper and far more revealing. And it's surprisingly boring, because actual wealth often is. Number 1, they make boring money decisions without apology. One of the clearest signs that someone is secretly wealthy is that their financial choices are boring. Not dull in a bad way, but dull in a way that screams discipline. While others chase emotional highs through impulsive buying, risky investing, or get-rich-quick stock market shortcuts, quietly wealthy people focus on decisions that are predictable, repeatable, and stable over long periods. And guess what? That boringness builds real equity. These are the people who keep investing consistently, even if it's just $100 a month into index funds, blue-chip stocks, or diversified ETFs. They don't gamble their savings based on market rumors. They don't jump into speculative investments because a random influencer promised overnight gains. They aren't chasing the next big IPO hoping it will magically turn them into millionaires. They play a long-term game that protects their portfolio instead of feeding their ego. People often mistake this boring behavior for a lack of ambition. But secretly, wealthy individuals know something important. Predictable money grows, while emotional money disappears. Number 2, they stay calm when others panic about money. There's something fascinating about secretly wealthy people. Their emotional relationship with money is different. While most people panic about bills, inflation, job insecurity, or market volatility, the quietly wealthy stay surprisingly calm. Not because they're rich, but because they've built layers of financial protection that reduce fear. They don't freak out when rent increases slightly. They don't panic when their car needs a repair. They don't lose sleep because the stock market dips for a week. They don't react dramatically to headlines about recession. They treat money like a tool, not a threat. This calmness doesn't come from luck. It comes from preparation. They keep a small emergency fund. They maintain basic insurance. They build diversified portfolios that balance risk across stocks, bonds, index funds, and ETFs. They budget without feeling deprived. They save consistently, even if the amount is small. They don't depend emotionally on buying things to feel good. Number 3, they buy value, not vibes. A quietly wealthy person almost always reveals themselves through the way they buy things. Not the price of what they buy, but the reason behind their purchases. They don't buy to impress. They buy to solve. They buy to last. They buy with intention, not impulse. This is one of the clearest and most underrated signs of hidden wealth, and most people completely miss it. Look closely and you'll notice something interesting. While others chase trends, new shoes, new phones, new gadgets, new outfits every month, quietly wealthy people operate with a different mindset. They buy fewer things, but they buy things that actually matter. They buy items built to last. They buy tools that make their life easier. They buy products that save them time, protect their attention, or eliminate recurring expenses. And more importantly, they buy things when they truly need them, not when they want to feel something emotionally. Quietly wealthy people apply this across everything: groceries, tech, clothes, furniture, even subscriptions. You'll rarely see them paying for unnecessary monthly services they don't use. They choose tools, apps, and memberships that create efficiency or learning, not distractions. They value knowledge, not noise. Number 4, They talk about money in a way most people never do. Here's a sign that exposes hidden wealth faster than any designer outfit or fancy car ever could. The way someone talks about money, not bragging, not complaining, not gossiping about who earns what, but something far more subtle, something that reveals maturity, clarity, and long-term thinking. When they discuss finances, the tone is calm, the intentions are clear, their language is grounded in reality. Instead of saying things like, "I hope I get rich someday," they talk about systems, long-term investing, portfolio diversification, building equity over time, accumulating assets gradually, understanding compound growth, and protecting wealth through planning. They don't engage in negative money conversation. They don't complain about prices constantly. They don't obsess over luxury. They don't compare themselves to others. They don't debate wealth like it's a competition. They don't make excuses about economy or politics. They focus on what they can control. Number 5. They protect their time like it's their real currency. I once met a man who always seemed strangely calm. He wasn't rich by appearance, no luxury car, no designer accessories, no loud lifestyle. But he had one habit. He protected his weekends fiercely. Not because he wanted to relax all day, but because weekends were his time to grow. Researching index funds, looking at blue-chip stocks, learning about ETFs, writing personal goals, and reviewing his small but steadily growing stock portfolio. Each weekend investment of 3 hours compounded into knowledge, and that knowledge compounded into better financial decisions. At work, people teased him for being too structured. Years later, those same people were shocked to see the financial stability he built for himself. Not through sudden success, not through high salary, but through disciplined time protection. Quietly wealthy people understand that time is leverage. Time multiplies knowledge. Knowledge multiplies income. Income, when managed with consistency, multiplies wealth. This chain reaction begins with a simple truth. Wealth is built in hours others waste. Number 6. They grow quietly without announcing every self-improvement move. One of the strongest signs of quiet wealth is quiet growth. Secretly, wealthy people don't announce every book they read. They don't post selfies every time they attend a seminar. They don't brag about waking up early or going to the gym. They don't share screenshots of their stock trading platform or their monthly contributions to ETFs or index funds. Their growth is internal before it ever becomes external. This kind of growth shows up in subtle ways. You'll notice they ask thoughtful questions. Their financial vocabulary improves naturally. They understand the basics of asset allocation, risk management, and long-term investing. They form opinions based not on noise but on research, experience, and patience. They adopt new skills not because they want to look smart, but because they want to become independent. What's fascinating is that secretly wealthy people prefer learning that leads to results, not applause. They read books quietly. They absorb financial content privately. They listen more than they speak. They experiment with small investments before making big ones. They grow their net worth inch by inch, not for others to see, but for themselves to feel. Number 7. They make decisions with the future in mind, not the moment. If you really want to spot someone who is secretly wealthy, pay attention to the time horizon they use when making decisions. Most people think in days, some think in weeks, a few think in months, but secretly wealthy people, they think in years, sometimes even decades. It's one of the biggest psychological differences between wealth builders and everyone else, and it shows up in ways you'd never expect. Quietly, wealthy people rarely entertain decisions that give short-term pleasure but long-term pain. They don't chase instant gratification. They don't blow money on impulse. They don't buy things just because they're trending. They don't make emotional purchases or emotional investments. Their mindset is anchored in the long game. They always ask one simple question before committing to anything. Will this still matter 5 years from now? Number 8. They surround themselves with stability, not chaos. If there's one sign that almost guarantees someone is secretly wealthy, it's the way they curate their environment. Quietly wealthy people are extremely intentional about the company they keep, the conversations they engage in, the influences they consume, and the energy they allow around them. They understand a simple but life-changing truth. Your environment shapes your decisions, and your decisions shape your wealth. They avoid chaotic people, not out of arrogance but out of self-preservation. They stay away from friends who constantly complain but never change. They distance themselves from people who love drama more than progress. They avoid circles where financial irresponsibility is normalized. Someone secretly wealthy won't stay long in environments where debt is considered normal, overspending is seen as a badge of honor, or living paycheck to paycheck is treated like destiny. They don't judge others. They simply understand that chaos is contagious. Because they protect their environment, their daily life becomes calmer, their thoughts become clearer, their decisions become smarter. I know that success comes from consistent learning. If this video gave you new insights, like it, share it, and subscribe to continue building wealth with me. Now, if you really want to level up, don't miss this next video. Let's continue there.